Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Woodpeckers Deep Dive. I'm Jeff Farris. Welcome to my shop. Today we are going to take a closer look at Woodpecker's current one-time tool offer, the MT center gauge and Doweling jig. All right, let's get started. The foundation of the MT center gauge and Doweling jig is a parallelogram. Let's do a little high school geometry review and make sure that we all are on the same page on what a parallelogram is. A parallelogram is a four-sided object where the two opposing sides are of equal length. Now, if these two sides and these two sides happen to be equal and the angle happens to be square, then 90 degrees, then that is a square. If this side and this side are equal, this side and this side are equal, but they're not the same, and the corner is 90 degrees, then it's a rectangle. But it's still a parallelogram if that corner isn't 90 degrees. When you change that angle, it's still a parallelogram, even though it's not square. And there's something else going on here that is a constant. And that is whether this is at 90 or a very, very low angle, as long as this is the center of this bar, when it's like this, it's the center of the bar anywhere. So we always have the exact center between these two sides by locating the center of the bar to begin with. If you followed all that, then this will make a lot of sense when we go to use it. Now, what we have to go between those two center points is a series of bars. Now, these are going to give us the ability to lay a set distance, anything from 4 millimeters to 10 millimeters, or 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. We're going to be able to put that in the exact center of any width of board. Now, we also, in each one of those, there is a hole in the exact center of that bar. And that's the first thing that we're going to take a look at, is how we can use any of our bars to find the exact center of our workpiece. So I'm working with 3/4 inch stock. I'm going to take the 1/4 inch bar out of the set. And when we get ready to do some mortise and tenon layout, this will be even thirds of our 3/4 inch stock. We're going to take that and put it under the jig and take these knobs and just screw that together like that. And now our 1/4 inch reference is always in the middle of the space between these two bars. So to locate center of our 3/4 inch stock, all we do is drop the center gauge on, pinch the sides together, our bar's right in the middle. I'm going to take a mechanical pencil, drop it right in that hole in the center and keep my pencil straight up and down, and lay down a perfect center line. Now, to lay out a mortise, we want the bar that is approximately 1/3 the size of our stock. And since we're working with 3/4 inch stock, that means we got the 1/4 inch bar. We're going to put that in the center. And then all we have to do is mark each side of it. And whether we want a mortise or a tenon, there's the correct dimension. When you do that with a pencil, you always have the width of the pencil lead that can give you a little bit of a problem. Depending on how you're doing the joinery, you may want to get a little bit finer with it and actually use a marking knife. Okay, so if I need a very, very tight fit on that, I'm going to use a marking knife that has a flat side. And then I can put that right against that bar, straight up and down, and get a crisp line that is exactly on the bar. And you can see there's zero gap between the bar and the line. Now you can get this nifty setup with just the inch bars, just the metric bars, or all of them together. Now the other half of this jig is a Doweling jig. So what we're going to do is replace our center bar with the Doweling bar. So I'm going to take the centering bar out. And now we'll put the doweling bar in. Now we have to decide which size dowel pin we want to use. You have your choice of either 1/4 inch or 3/8. Now I'm going to use a couple of these inserts, so I'm going to take those out and thread them into the bar to make a right angle joint. So I've got it set up for my 2-inch thick stock. I've got it set up with 2 dowel pins that'll make a nice even joint across there. Now the starting point we're going to set up by positioning this, and I want that so that my stock is roughly, but doesn't have to be perfectly, just roughly centered on my 2 dowel pins. Now we'll put that in the vise, bring the stop against the edge of the stock, and bring the arms against the sides. And now I know that my drill guides are right over the center of my stock. So in the owner's manual, it says to just put that on there like this, make sure you're against the end stop, squeeze it together, take your drill bit, put it in the drill guide and drill your hole. And that certainly works. But if you're worried about being able to balance all that all at the same time, let me show you a nifty little trick that I came up with to make this just a little easier to use. I'm going to put an F clamp on there. Now that's going to do the same thing that my fingers are doing, just with a little bit more pressure, and now I have both hands to handle my drill. There's our first side of our joint. For the opposing side of the joint, we're drilling into the edge of the piece, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring the stop against the end, pinch our bars together, drop on our F clamp, and as we get that clamp close to tight, we want to double check and make sure we're against our end stop. All right, let's see how it fits. I'm going to put a couple of dowel pins in here. And then we'll come up to our mating piece, put it together. Oh, look at that. Perfect fit. Now, if you like the Doweling Jig feature, but you're not too crazy about the layout, don't worry about it. You can buy just the Doweling Jig. Or you can buy the complete set with the doweling system and either the inch bars, metric bars, or both. Lots of different buying options in this. And that will be on our website. There's a link right down below. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching today. I hope you learned more about our MT center gauge and doweling jig. If you like what you see today, be sure and give us a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know about every one of our great videos right when they come out. We'll see you next time on Deep Dive.